Nerds podcast. We back at it once again.
Nuts.
I am your host, Jake Baldwin. We got Norman Heath. We got Andre Buford, Gabe Jordan, Pastor B, Brian Evans, and the man with the green shirt, Mr. Brandon Travis, man.
Mr. Rose Petals himself.
Money shirt.
We got green shirt and green miracle water. So
this water is best, man. I'm telling y'all.
And it ain't even St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, man, listen. We are here once again. We are excited. This is episode 5 of the Church Nerds podcast, man.
Wow.
We are rolling. All right, we're getting so much love. If you haven't checked out the last 4 episodes, I suggest that you do go check them out, especially the last one. We had so much fun doing that one. Listen, we want you to like, comment, subscribe, invite. Tell your pastor, tell your youth leader, tell your cousin. You know, if we like Kirk Franklin, which is Andre's favorite musical artist, you know, we everybody's uncle, cousin, nephew, all that. So we want everybody to like, comment, subscribe to our Facebook.
Let's get it.
Listen, today we are going to be doing a movie review. Matter of fact, we're just going to be talking movies in general, but this movie review, though, we are going to be talking about this movie that just came out that all of us have loved. The video game ever since we were kids. The Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yes,
and y'all have the Super Mario Brothers movie. Now, I know for a fact, all of you all in the comments, you guys have, most of us are all 90s, 80s, 90s kids. We have grown up on Mario. We have all heard, you know, Mario, Luigi, Donkey Kong, Princess Peach, Yoshi, Bowser, everybody, man. Listen. The Super Mario Brothers movie. Wait, hold on, Norm. Go back to that flyer real quick. Just look how good it is. It's crazy how they made this look like in the Marvel Avengers.
It is a dope looking graphic.
For real.
That's straight up Endgame for real.
That is Endgame all the way. But listen, we're gonna be doing this movie for Super Mario Brothers, man. I'm gonna go first. First of all, I love the movie. Okay, it's Mario. Yeah, all of us that had grown up on the original NES, playing Mario. You know, when Mario first came on Donkey Kong, then he got his own game. By far, one of the best game soundtracks. Dun 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 dun. Everybody knows that intro. Okay, Mario. It's a nostalgia feel. All right, it's not much of a story. It's just they hit it home with a lot of references to the games and everything, but I do believe they did keep true to the Mario franchise. The colors, everything looks amazing. The nostalgia references to Rainbow Road, you know, the bombs, the Koopa, all that, man. Donkey Kong, it was an amazing film. Mario is definitely he might be the all-time like best video game character or most recognizable, if I should say that. But very dope movie. I loved it. My favorite video game is Mario Kart 64. I got Toad every time because Toad was my guy. Toad was my guy on 64. But definitely this is a very good film. I loved it. Very nostalgic for all of us that grew up. All right. So I'm gonna turn it over to the Deacon himself, Norm. Man, what you think of the film?
Well, you know, I liked it. It was cool. I had Mario Brothers 1 on the Nintendo. Honestly, I played that game through the wee hours of the night, trying to master all 8 levels, trying to master the jumps and the crazy castles. So this movie took me back to my childhood. Honestly, I thought it was phenomenal. I thought it was just the right length because it was about 90 minutes in and out. It didn't overstay as well. Bowser was great. I think Jack Black did a great job playing.
Hilarious
as far as that. I mean, I think they did a good job. I mean, my hope is that, obviously it's going to be a sequel, but my hope is that, you know, it's not going to be just like, okay, now what are we going to do? And it's just like, but, you know, hey, so far so good, man. I'm happy.
Oh, yeah. I think Jack Black brings light to any character because all knowing that he is Poe from Kung Fu Panda. He is Poe.
Jack Black played him?
Jack Black played Poe from Kung Fu Panda. That's him.
Oh, wow.
Peaches.
Hey, his song rendition of Peaches is probably gonna be
Classic.
definitely classic, man. Brandon, man, what you think of the Super Mario Bros. Movie?
Definitely, I love the Super Mario movie. Like we all been stating, we played it, we watched it. I used to like playing Bowser in Mario Kart, even though he always seemed like a little slower than all the other racers. But I still like playing Bowser. But about the movie, I liked it because it was a movie, right? And even though it was Mario, it didn't turn into like a kiddie film. It still had, adult. All of us that were when we were kids, we were able to watch it and reminisce and go back to it. But it's not like a kid movie. And I had my kids in there. They was watching it. They said it was cool, but of course they don't have the history with it. Different sounds, different songs, different characters. But overall, it was a great movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the second one.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. We're gonna talk about this later about all the Hollywood reboots. It's not really for this generation. It's mainly for all of us that grew up on it. So, Andre, man, what you think of Mario, bro?
I loved it actually. It was nostalgic.
Wow.
Everybody, shut up, Brian. Everybody.
Hold on, everyone in the comments. This is the first, okay? He said he loved the movie, okay? Go ahead, Dre.
It just brought back a lot of memories, man. Backyard, playing with my boys, playing with my friends, everybody in the neighborhood playing Mario Kart. Mario Party,
y'all
Mario.
Play Mario Kart in the backyard. That's dope, man.
Well, all right, yeah. No, but we had like when we used to live in Saginaw, we had like a little greenhouse patio area, and that's where my parents only let me bring my friends. Like when it was like more than like 4 or 5, so I used to bring the system back there and we used to play. So yeah, man, it was well made, well developed. Loved how the characters looked amazing. So everything about it was legit. So I liked it.
That's dope. That's the original multi-playing, man. You had to go over to your friend's house to play the game, man. Yeah, either you had 4 controllers or everyone had to bring their own controller.
Bring your own controller.
Their own controller. Okay, and it was just trash. I remember when I was in college, one of the guys had a 64, and he bought Mario Kart down to the student center. Everybody be coming in to get food and stuff. Listen, it was a long line, and it was
I'm sure
because everybody wanted to get a piece of Kart, man.
I think Mario Kart was before its time, man. It was a fun and competitive game,
and you could play it for hours and feel like time just passed by.
Hours. It's the same concept. You can get different, but it's the same. You know what I mean? And nothing more iconic than Rainbow Road, man. It's nothing more.
If y'all ever decide to get a Switch, yeah, man, that Mario Kart 8 is fire. For sure.
Is it?
It's fire though? It's very fire.
I got to get me a Switch. My brother has a Switch, and he's definitely said he loves Mario Kart. Pastor B.
Man, I loved it. I thought it was hilarious from beginning to end. My kids loved it. I think it's already been said, but Jack Black and Bowser.
That's him. That is totally him.
Hilarious, like absolutely hilarious. I if I was to give it one critique for me personally, I thought some of the variations on the original songs were a little like meh. Yeah. Like I wish they would have held true to some of the original themes songs, which I mean you could hear the different nuances. I get what they were shooting for, but for me, I'm like I wanted to hear that nostalgic old school medley that I didn't necessarily hear in the movie.
Yeah.
But I appreciated them being like true to the back.
The bat.
Somebody screenshot this.
Oh no.
Oh Lord. Oh my goodness.
Sorry, folks. We having technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties.
Pastor
Why you
B's
say,
internet.
why you saying we? It ain't we.
Yeah, you're right.
We in this together, no.
We in this together.
Hey, this is
That's
raw,
right.
uncut material.
This is live in color.
Just
Hey,
wait
This
for
is
him.
hilarious, man.
God, shut him up before you said something crazy.
So we go.
But before Pastor B go, who's your favorite character from the Mario franchise?
Mario.
I mean,
Well-
everyone with you, but come on now.
Well, I'm a,
Now,
Even though he wasn't-
are we talking about
Yeah.
like Donkey Kong and Diddy?
'cause I was gonna
and all
say
them as
Donkey
well?
Kong is mine, even though Mario first appeared.
Yeah,
in
I'm
the
talking about
1980s.
all of them.
I'm gonna
I'm
go with
sorry.
Diddy.
I'm going Donkey Kong, man.
Donkey Kong?
Really? Why Donkey Kong?
I used to play with Donkey Kong
Yeah,
every game almost.
likewise.
And
And
then
Diddy.
in the movie, I like Donkey Kong. I like Diddy Kong. That little quick, he came in there. But I just like Donkey Kong. When Donkey Kong and when he touched the fire mushroom and then got on fire, I just like Donkey Kong, man.
Yeah, he went Super Saiyan.
He did. He did. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
This Pastor, you froze. We think God shut you up before you said something crazy. Go ahead.
I don't even know where I ended. Where I ended. So I don't even know what y'all talking about.
You into it.
I don't even know what I was saying. It looked fine to me, and then all of a sudden it was off. So I don't even know where I ended.
You were
But no, I was.
You were saying something that you and the kids definitely enjoyed it, but you had one critique about the music.
Oh yeah, so if I had one critique, it would be that I would have loved for them to like be truer to the original melodies of some of the theme songs. Like I was like, you know, when he powered up, like I was looking for that, and I didn't really get that kind of that kind of nostalgic feel in some of the music pieces. So that would be my only critique of the movie. But yeah, Bowser, man, dude is hilarious. There's this whole. Oh, I did also like the fact that, like, at least for me, like it made sense to me now why Bowser always trying to kidnap Peaches, and so like you watch that in a video game, you don't really get to understand it, but it kind of gave us some backstory that this man is in love with Peaches.
That man was in love.
I know, he was trying to get his love. So I thought that was an interesting flair.
That's
That's
what's up.
It's like every young guy at the national convention trying to get a girl.
Oh no!
And they be singing that song just like that too. Whatever their name is, Peaches.
And ain't most of them all
We're gonna have to talk about that next week. When we talk about
Next time on Church Nerds Podcast.
Is it most of them musicians too?
Most of them.
Most of them.
Some
Oh
of them
my
not, though.
goodness. Oh my goodness. Gabe, man, what you think of Mario, man?
Nah, Jay used to be one of those musicians back in the day, but we ain't gonna-
Hey, I'm not
He not the same no more. He been changed, but he's still a musician.
Jay, you was a backpack drummer.
He did have a backpack.
I want to
He said
Hey,
he's
Dre.
married now. He married now. Don't get this man in
Dre.
no trouble.
He was one of those. He was one of those drummers who posed for the camera like this.
Yeah. I got a few pictures just like that.
No, you ain't got to show the pictures. No, I got some. They on
Let
my-
me pull the
Hey, if you
pictures
wanna-
up.
If you want to go, I was definitely one of those. I don't know why drummers did all of that all the time. Bro.
Yeah, I don't know why y'all did that.
I don't know why.
They knew exactly why they was doing what they was doing.
Oh, yeah, they
Don't
knew
act-
why they was doing it.
Don't act like y'all singers were just as innocent either, bro. All right.
What are you talking about?
Bro, I wasn't no singer.
Bad.
Say what you trying to say. Say it with your chest.
Y'all did extra rips and runs just to impress the girl.
Yeah, whatever.
I was in the streets witnessing.
Yeah, I'm sure you were witnessing.
Gabe, man, what you think of Mario, bro?
My opinion might be a little bit different from everyone's.
Oh my! You gonna be Dre today?
Oh yeah, I was about to say.
Nah, not quite Dre. Not quite Dre. But I would say I mean it was cool. It wasn't all that to me. Like I feel the same way about Mario as I did when they tried to remake The Lion King. Personally, and
But I
kind of
thought-
like
This was better than the remake of Lion King, though.
No, and the reason why I say that is because I didn't like. I feel like they should have remained more true to like the jingles and stuff in the songs and you know that whole thing. I feel like they kind of changed it up a little bit. But I think the reason why I didn't really like it that much is because I'm not really as attached to it like you guys. Like I'm kind of like Brandon Travis's kids, where Travis, he loved it because he grew up with it.
Right.
And his
right.
kids was like, like it was cool,
Yeah.
but they don't have that attachment to it. And I'm the same way. You know what I mean? I grew up around it. You know, I've watched people play it, but I never really got into it. Like
you
that.
use PlayStation. You use Sony.
Yeah, you know,
Right. I was in the suburbs, so
Gay was a rich kid, so
nah. Just,
they had Xboxes and
Yeah,
PlayStation.
this man.
nah.
This man was
Yeah,
playing Spyro.
N64.
That's what
You know
He
what I'm
played
saying?
Spyro and Crash
Wow.
Bandicoot.
No, they wasn't playing games. They was going to see the games be made.
No, they was beta
You
testers.
said they was invited to the production.
They got the watch parties. They went to the programming committees.
The program.
Forget it. Gabe is Mario.
Here we go. But yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
So with the Mario movie and with the past two Sonic movies, given the time frame that they've both been out, who do y'all is Mario more popular than Sonic or vice versa?
I say that's
I
hard
say
to say
Mario.
because
Well,
Mario
Sonic.
just
I'm
came out.
gonna say Mario made $400 million opening week, and Sonic only made 100. The first Sonic,
There you
second
have it.
one made more, but first Sonic only made 100 million plus.
I think
It's
yeah.
Mario.
Do you think they helped each other out because now they got that Mario and Sonic at the Olympics and Winter Games and all that? Are they trying to like what do
And
you
who
think?
helped who out?
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think either one because they're both standalone films.
Yeah,
not
they live in their own
not
worlds.
giving any
Yeah.
content
Sure.
connecting the two. So
I don't think they're gonna cross reference.
no, I don't think so.
I hope they don't. That's gonna be
Knowing Hollywood and what they've done the past few years, they probably would try to attempt something.
Now I can see them coming out with a Super Smash Bros. Movie.
Mm.
That'd be interesting. That would be
be
Smash
interesting.
Brothers. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That would be.
I'll watch it.
That's my next.
But there was a Mario versus Sonic
Game.
a game out. So
Yeah, that was,
it wouldn't be
they were
too
talking
far
about.
fetched for them to try to put the movie together.
I
somewhere down
think
the
it's
line.
I think it's still kind of too early to be talking about.
Well, I
that.
agree.
They're
I
trying-
absolutely
they're,
agree. Yeah.
They're trying to build those franchises and build them
Mhm.
up to be standalone where they can be successful on their own without the
Yeah.
extra additive of any other
Mhm.
character in any other
Yeah,
game. So I
yeah,
think if
yeah.
that does come, it's gonna be way down the line.
But if they do crossplay it, it's definitely gonna probably have to be Smash Bros. That they do it with.
It
I
has
mean, that's
Then you could bring in Zelda. You could bring in Hobart.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can bring
Do y'all think they're gonna do a Zelda standalone?
oh for
Because Zelda's
sure,
huge.
Mhm.
for sure. Zelda might
That'd be
actually outdo both of them
Probably. Yeah.
combined. 'Cause Zelda was,
And here's the thing:
love Zelda.
I know how popular Zelda is, but I have never played a Zelda game.
And,
Oh,
and
bro,
that-
you
and
know,
that's the
I played
reason why they probably would not do Zelda like that. Because Zelda's big, but to the common person, like some people don't even know that Zelda is the princess.
The princess,
And Link
yeah.
is the hero.
Link is they think Zelda is
They
Link's.
think- right.
Yeah.
So to the casual audience, Zelda
Mm.
like Mario. Everybody knows Mario.
because
Yeah.
before I start playing it, I thought Zelda was the green.
Yep.
You know, the green
Right.
leprechaun.
Mhm.
But it was Link. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I think it'll be a hit though.
They got to do it right.
Yeah.
They gotta do it
But
right.
I could see them trying to make that a live action film.
yeah.
And,
What?
and mess it up.
What? And mess it up.
And mess it up.
And mess it
Mhm.
up. Definitely.
What other video game franchise y'all think would do good as a video game as a live adaptation
That hasn't been made yet,
that hasn't been made yet? Yup.
Gears of War.
for sure.
Gears
Yeah,
of
I
War.
can
You
I've
know
seen
what,
Gears of War.
Brandon? It's
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
you bring that up because I've been hoping.
Yeah.
You know, I love the fact that they got God of War and they made it. I cannot wait till that come out.
But I mean, because when you think about games like Gears of War, Call of Duty, they already
Yeah,
are made like a movie kind of type feel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
With all the information that they get. So, but that would be dope. Make Gears of War.
Well, the Call of Duty developers, Bungie and all the other developing companies, they said they weren't going to do a movie for Call of Duty just because it's a war movie. You know, they got tons of those, so it's
Yep.
like
Mhm.
Yeah.
storyline can they really have outside of what they have? You know,
I'm so upset they botched Assassin's Creed so bad.
Well, Assassin's Creed is a hard movie to make live.
It is.
Just
It's
because
like
the
Dragon
premise
Ball
is
Z.
Crazy.
Don't bring that up ever. Don't bring that up. Oh my god.
But
Hey.
gentlemen, though, I gotta pause y'all because we have a special guest in the building.
No.
This man is straight out the Illinois State Council.
Oh,
This guy
An
got
revival.
He's straight out the Keys. Came straight
Oh.
out the church house.
he was helping the
This
people
house.
praise. He was helping the people
Everybody,
praise.
The
show the
organist.
love and put your hands together for the one and only
Yep.
Daryl Walt. Come on.
There you go.
Nobody
We are
got
not worthy.
What's up, my
Fresh
brother?
with the
Fresh cut.
We are not worthy.
Fresh.
Wow.
And he got the slow mo on.
Boy,
Man,
they,
man.
Hey, they sprayed that Beijing evenly, man. It looked nice.
This is all.
I'm kidding. I'm messing with you.
Oh man,
What's going on, Darrell?
Hey, what's going on, fam?
What's going on, brother? Man, how long? Man, you was playing behind the preacher really long tonight, huh?
We had Dr. Edwell in town, so
We already know.
There was some healing hands. Healing hands was happening tonight.
Demons coming out and everything.
Uh-huh.
We understand. Darrell, we glad to have you on, man. Everyone gave their review for the Mario movie, man. We want you to say yours, man. What you think of Mario, brother?
I truly enjoyed Mario. Mario was good.
Mhm.
I think of course, it's not some Oscar-winning movie or something like that, but for what it was, for a video game movie, put it this way, if nothing else, it was definitely better than the first Mario Brothers movie.
Oh God.
That first Mario Brothers movie was
that ain't hard to beat.
trash.
Man. That first Mario was
Yeah.
terrible.
Oh God.
It should have been on Tubi.
But no, I think they did it well.
That should have been on Pluto.
Not
That's even saying a lot.
yeah.
And the
Ripping
first
off
one
the
should have been
LimeWire.
on Winans comedy CD.
Oh,
I think
man.
also the way they did all the music from the different levels and all the little tracks you love to hear from the game that you remember and sort of hit that nostalgic button. I think overall it was done well. I'm not the biggest fan of everybody's making a hype of that Peaches song. I wasn't a big fan of that, but
That was my favorite jam.
it was all right. But I mean, otherwise, I love the movie. Even the little, the end scene with the, they sort of hinted at Yoshi.
Yeah.
But-
I was kind of sad that they didn't put him in here somewhere. They could,
He
actually.
was in
put
there.
I
him
was
in
gonna
here.
say Norm said he saw some.
He was.
He
He's
wasn't
I
there.
didn't see
I
it.
didn't see him.
I
Yeah,
thought
I
it
didn't
was
see
That
those.
part in the
other
middle
colors.
when they were crossing across, it was Peach and Mario were crossing across the deserts and such, right? There was one scene they were crossing across a mountainous valley, and there was a bunch of Yoshis running and behind them in the back.
I saw I did see all the other colors. There was the pink, the yellow, and all the other.
So,
But there was never that green Yoshi. That's
Yeah.
what I was looking for. But yeah, I saw the other colors. Yeah, because they even paused for a second to show the pink one. The pink one was at the river, and it was standing there.
Uh,
Respectfully.
Mr. Yoshi's, man, come on. No.
So
But
sick of you.
otherwise, even at the wedding scene, they had all the old bosses from the different games.
mhm.
I loved seeing that.
Now that scene was hilarious.
It was. It definitely was. I love the wedding scene.
Oh, man.
And even the sort of Luigi's mansion, they kind of had that a little bit. So yeah, I thought it was overall good. It sort of touched all the little bits and pieces from Mario over the years. So
That's dope. Do you got a favorite Mario game, Darrell?
that's hard. I mean,
Mario Tennis.
On the Wii.
Mario and Sonic Olympics from the
Olympics.
Wii. No. I mean, my favorite would probably have to be Super Mario Brothers. I want to say it's 3. Back from
That
the
was a good
NES.
That was
In
good.
the NES, yeah.
Super Nintendo,
That's what Norm
yeah,
said. That's probably I think a lot of
That was
people
good.
go back to that one.
Yeah.
Definitely from the NES. But Darrell, before you came on, we was talking about I mean, you might have seen while you was waiting, but we was talking about any other video game franchise that hasn't been done. How would it turn out to be made into like a movie? We were talking about Zelda but like we was all saying, if you don't know like the basics of Legend of Zelda, like a lot of people think Zelda is Link.
Yeah.
You know. I wouldn't know. I knew that, but I have never played a Zelda game, so I wouldn't be as informative going into a movie because I wouldn't know any of the nostalgia, things that people have known, playing Zelda growing up. But they got to do it right. But if it's Hollywood, like Andre said, they probably botch it and
you know what would be a good one though?
What?
Grand Theft Auto.
That'd be sweet.
That movie would. How would they do it and it not be hilarious? Like, how would they do it and it not be a comedy?
We know what rating that movie would be.
It has to be San Andreas for me to go see it.
That's what I'm saying.
Ooh, San Andreas was the best.
Because you got Samuel L. Jackson already in there. Whole Street, baby, for life.
No.
Oh man, the San Andreas. Yeah, San Andreas is definitely the best one. I'm trying to think. You think? What about?
Or
think
Saints Row?
Saints Row.
Which one though? Saints Row.
First one. The
Oh,
first
yeah,
one.
the first one. Yeah, because
Wasn't there Vice City? Wasn't that one or no?
Vice City was 2
No.
or
Yeah.
3.
No,
3.
no,
2.
Vice City came out after Grand Theft Auto 3.
3.
Or
They,
4?
they already got a Miami Vice, so they don't need a
Yeah,
Vice.
they don't need Vice City.
So with Hollywood, man, with all these reboots, man, obviously we all know that they can't come up with nothing original. Why do y'all think that is? Like, what's going on? Like, why can't they come with nothing original?
Because they don't know how to find relatable writers.
And people don't like original stuff.
And
Creators.
two,
Well, why can't a reboot be original?
Well, it's a reboot.
Just a
right?
reboot.
It's a reboot.
No,
It's already
hear me. So it's like we take a game, like take Mario for example. Like you take a game, something nostalgic from our past, and originally create something that's different that's on screen. That's different.
But then I think people would be disappointed because when you show a certain type of, or provide a certain type of narrative, like we're going back retro to your past, people gonna automatically think about what they saw in their past. And if you come to the movie theater and you show me something different, it might be good, but I might not be satisfied because I'm not seeing what I thought I was gonna see.
Yeah.
That's why nobody comes to conventions.
But you
Well, chill out. But I don't even necessarily think. Let's bring this. Let's get back.
Wow.
Let's get back on task.
I can't.
Y'all see, it ain't me. It ain't.
It's not.
today it was not Dre. I'm shocked.
I felt the spirit of Dre come over me.
The spirit of Dre.
You're gonna have to rebuke you on that one.
Hey, that might have been that spirit somebody said they saw on the elevator. They took it there.
I'll take the next one.
He ain't lying though.
I'll
Oh.
take the next one.
Oh my god! But I don't. Yeah, with the originality, because like Brandon said, people are already going to have in the mindset, like once you say you're going to do something that's nostalgic, people are automatically going to go to what they knew. Like think about the Chippendale Rescue Rangers movie. Everyone automatically went back to what they knew growing up before the movie was even came out. Everyone second guessed it, and then once the movie came out, it ended up being real popular. Because the original story was, you know what I mean? Because everyone didn't know how they would feel about the live action voices and everything. But I think what won everybody over about that movie was the ugly Sonic reference that was in there.
Well, I don't even think, to be honest, I don't even think it's a problem of Hollywood can't be original. It's just the fact that they know that nostalgia hits and you're never going to lose with it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, you can lose if you do nostalgia
Well, I mean,
wrong.
you can, but Cinderella story, how many stories have we been through with Cinderella?
True.
Well,
Yeah,
let's be honest.
Like the original stuff though.
They trying to. I don't even want to say it because I'm upset.
I mean, it's consistent money, bro. They know it's always going to hit.
But I don't care. So not what you saying, Gabe, about what I wasn't
Like,
going to say.
The spirit of Dre coming out.
Like I said in our second episode, they're too busy trying to please everybody.
That's true.
So
I agree.
they do change a lot, of things morally in these movies
Oh yeah,
that always doesn't give you nostalgia because
you see that in the new Peter Pan movie that's coming out.
I'm not going to see that.
The boys club is
Well,
full of girls.
well, I think I said this in pre-lobby. That was one of the things that I was satisfied about in the Mario movie, that there was very little of those
Hidden
respectfully hidden agendas. You know, it was a movie that was true to itself. Bowser was in love with Peach and not
Anybody else?
Why you stop?
anybody else.
Anything else?
But honestly,
Because
Brian, not just that. I feel like even if they had tried to do that, I think it would just been an outrage period of how
Yeah.
you know how it was. Even people that's not say so Christians like that, they would have been upset. Like, okay, y'all doing too much.
Just like what happened with Buzz Lightyear.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, like
You know what I mean?
Like,
And-
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have to explain that to my child every time.
Exactly.
Dude,
Exactly.
That's just my
every movie
personal
I
opinion.
watch, I have that in mind. Like, am I going to see
Yeah.
something that I gotta tell
Yeah.
my children something about? Even though it's everywhere now, it's pretty prevalent, but we do
Yeah.
our best to keep it at bay. But it's like it's everywhere.
It's
Yeah.
in your
Come on,
face.
man.
And the sad part for me, or I guess not sad, the most frustrating part for me is, and it's not a community episode, but our culture, society, I should say, has perpetuated its soul that, their way of life must be accepted and embraced according to culture and societal norms. But for an individual to have a difference of opinion and not want that way of life or have a different style of life, and you want to, stand on what you believe and stand on your thoughts, man, these folks will hang you. They'll say you saying hate speech, you this, that, all this other foolishness. It's unfortunate and frustrating.
For sure, especially since the ages of 1 through 7 are the most pivotal ages ever that literally shape your identity for the rest of your life. And I think my problem with this is, and like I said, like Pastor B said, I don't want it to get into a community or culture episode, but Disney shouldn't be the one introducing a conversation to my kid.
Yeah, agreed.
You know,
But you gotta understand when you're talking about Disney or any network, and it sounds like we're going community now. But
That's the way the combo goes.
It's just
We just going with the flow.
And that's perfect.
when you
That's
talk about
perfectly
those kind of cinema giants and any kind of influencer. It has always been there, right? And they have always put tidbits, but they waited for a time when it was more acceptable in today's culture
morally.
to be able to come out and do, what they want to do. But on the, like Pastor B was saying, I don't like that extremist side to where they say you can have your opinion, but don't have your opinion.
Right.
You can have your opinion, but don't voice it, don't talk about it, don't say anything against this. Just as those people fight as hard to have what they want, I should be able to fight just as hard to have my
what I want.
life.
Exactly.
And that's not to hurt or hinder anybody else, but it's how I feel and it's how I represent myself and my faith, my life, and my family. So
Absolutely.
Exactly.
let's not get it mixed up. We don't hate
no.
the community that
we don't.
speaking of.
Absolutely,
No, we respect y'all, and we love y'all unconditionally because love has no face.
Just in
value.
case you're listening.
Exactly.
we
hope you are.
we just understand things a little bit differently than the kids of now understand it. And we understand the power of choice. We don't want that smushed up into our kids. We want to tell our kids how to handle certain situations and how to deal with certain things.
And I could get trying to, these companies trying to reach the broader audiences. But I feel like right now they're going way, if it's in this one movie, fine, you're trying to reach an audience, hey, no problem. But you just release 10 and every 10 movies got to have a scene or got to have something now.
Right.
It's like, even now I'm watching,
Ghost?
Ghost, Power Book 2.
Yes.
I'm watching it and I'm like, hey, it's good.
Every episode, Drew
Why
got a
every
scene, bro.
episode Drew's the only one, not that I'm trying to
Nobody
see that in
else.
any way. Right. Nobody else is getting done. Right. I don't agree either way, but that shouldn't be what I see. You know.
Yeah, because that lets you know, man, it's not just movies, it's television shows, man. Like you gotta watch, what is going into your mindset. You know what I mean?
But it's an agenda overall.
Yeah.
Overall.
But yeah, it's definitely
And
legit.
not all of the community is a part of the agenda.
Yeah.
It's just the extremists.
It's a very
that-
elect view at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, it's the vocal minority. That's how it always is, though.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can get a few people on my side to be louder than all the rest of y'all on there, then it's gonna seem like everybody is driving that. I mean, that's
Right.
just how it always been. The mob mentality is usually driven by a few people.
That's facts.
That's just how life is, man. There was that line in Men in Black about how come they didn't say nothing about the aliens because the person is smart, and guy was like, no, a person is smart, but people are dumb, panicky, and you know that. I mean, and it's like you get a bunch of people together, they minds fuse, and it's like whatever, man. So
It's like
rough.
y'all truly do not have to convince us of anything anymore. Y'all have y'all rightful place in this world, and we get it. We get it.
Yeah.
But I think Dre, you said it well, right? There's that choice piece where it's almost as if our societal norm now is that the only choice you have is to accept me and go along with what I do. You don't have the choice to think differently or to have a different opinion
And that's
on a matter.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. They want you to be so inclusive to where you lose your free will, your choice.
It's kind of like slavery again.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah.
a whole
We ain't
whole
going
different
back there.
discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
We's gonna fight. We's gonna fight Massa this time. We ain't going back there.
So yeah, and that's the trend, especially and they do it in Hollywood because they know everybody's gonna be watching some type of movie that's gonna be coming out because Hollywood is literally like the biggest entertainment where people can like see it all the time, So it's definitely it's a trend. It's definitely a trend that's going on.
But the thing of it is, Jay, though, they do it in Hollywood because they know it makes money.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Right.
it's a business. And if my business gets me this by going this direction, then I'm going to do it because I'm going to get the money.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's just the reality.
But we're starting to see the backlash on that though, because Disney, they lost over $2 billion trying to go that route.
They did.
You know what I mean? So
Now they're making terrible movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
Because I was on Disney. I was on Disney Plus, and I was like,
God.
I'm gonna just go rewatch all the old 90s cartoons that I watched because there ain't nothing good originally that they got going on here, like at all.
No,
I can't do it.
nothing, Jay.
I mean, Mandalorian. That's it.
Mandalorian starting to fall off though. I mean, it was good until he started getting bounced out by the secondary character because Bo-Katan taking over the show.
She is.
It's like
She
what's
is.
happening here?
And the season finale is next week. I was like, wait,
Right.
I thought this was focused on him and Grogu. You
Yeah.
know? So and then now,
That's the other agenda that's going on.
Yeah.
But check this out. That Snowfall though.
Snowfall.
I haven't
I'm behind.
I just
I gotta
started
catch
season
up.
one, right?
I haven't seen Snowfall.
Man,
I haven't
Gabe,
seen Snowfall.
that boy be acting.
I'm way behind.
That
Is
boy
it better
acting.
than Power?
It's like in the words of Pastor B, it's a slight second.
Man, I'm just tired of all the same. It's like all about the drug shows, man. I'm like, it's the same thing. Selling drugs. I'm like, can we get something else?
I mean, what else do you want in the drug show?
But
That's not
I mean,
what else they gonna do?
I get what you're saying, Jay. I get
It's
it.
true.
that's what I'm saying. Like, power, drugs, BMF. It's about drugs. Snowfall. It's about drugs. Like, it's pretty much the same concept for everything. Like, y'all can't come up with something
You
more.
can't really include BMF though. That was
That's a
technically
biography
that's a
that actually
biography.
happened.
Oh,
That
yeah.
actually
Oh, yeah.
happened for real.
Yeah.
That's real life.
BMF, but
People like drama, man. People like drama.
they do like
Yeah.
drama.
They like
Backstabbing
drama.
friends
But-
and
but-
scumbags.
But I totally agree with what you're saying, Jay. We're always putting the light of either drama or crime, and that's just not fair to us.
I mean, what's the
I mean,
good
like,
family
as-
shows now?
What'd you say?
What good family? Like back in the day, you had the Family Matters, you had the
Cosby Show,
the Cosby
Fresh
Show,
Prince.
you had
Fresh Prince.
like who do we have now?
You know, Tyler Perry tried to bring it back.
He tried.
He tried. You know what I'm saying?
What with House of Pain?
Oh, with House of Pain and
You know, I mean, even though
Assisted Living.
House of Pain was
Yeah,
decent.
yeah.
What about Blackish?
Yeah, Blackish
solid.
was really good.
Blackish, yeah.
It was a solid show.
But that's
But they're
no
not
more.
they're not as
They're done.
frequent as they used to be.
Yeah.
You know,
Those-
Grownish.
They just ended, I think. Didn't they? They just
Like
finished their
a year
They
ago,
ended
2 years ago?
like 2 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, Grownish. That's not really a
Yeah.
family show. Honestly.
No.
It's more for young adults.
I'm not a fan of that show at all. My wife
Yeah,
loved
you-
that show.
You got
You got Love and Hip Hop.
Oh,
Gabe.
what?
Stop it.
Gabe.
You know,
Were we
You
talking
know-
about family shows or
Yeah,
what?
we said family
let me
show.
let me say this about those reality shows.
I'm
I
just kidding.
mean, I just don't understand. It's like you know, it's like people who move to Florida and know it's gonna be a hurricane. You know what I'm saying? You know you're gonna get a hurricane every year, right?
Right.
But it's
right.
people who go into those reality shows knowing that
Mhm.
their main agenda is to degrade the
Mhm.
black home
Mhm.
Yeah.
and show it on national TV to people
Yep,
who
and
already
make it okay.
Money,
like
bro.
us, but
Money.
just have
Money,
it's
money,
great.
money.
Money, man.
Money rules the world, man. I'm
That-
just
and that's
being
why I
honest.
don't like when we go into those spaces. And if you know what I'm saying by we, I'm talking about like the gospel Christian
You need to
Yeah.
community. Like
True, very true.
I hate it. And society, they tend to generalize everyone
Yeah.
within that group. Like
And
there's
before,
one.
and Gabe,
Go ahead, Jay.
before we even got into that, really, they are already looked at the church a certain way anyway.
Yeah.
You know, now that's being shown on the national TV screen. It just confirming what they believe.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I can't stand it either. Like,
Okay, but Dick, what was the last good church-based show that was like they didn't portray the church as like
That's what I was.
crazy
No,
folk?
that's a perfect question.
Because
Hey,
the
man.
last
There
one I
hasn't
can think
been
of-
one.
Perfect
No, the last
question.
one I could think of was Amen. That was
Amen.
the last
Yeah.
church-based show where they didn't act like a bunch of idiots, or
Yeah.
they weren't drama, or it wasn't the funny dude on the keyboard.
I think that's the only show.
That's the only show I
that's the
think.
only show.
Because
Yeah,
to
I'm
I was about to
Gabe's
say
point,
Greenleaf, but
because to Gabe's point, like that, like the unfortunate reality is, as much as we, you know, we talk about these things we don't like and that we have a distaste to, in some cases, church culture, and I'm putting them in air quotes because right there's this societal norm of church culture that perpetuates so much of this stuff because it's so associated with or has become infused in a lot of the communities of, you know, religious church, you know,
Yeah,
that
for sure.
that people now associate a lot of these behaviors with the church, and so
But I mean-
then they put it in the movies, and then they put it in our.
But I
you know,
mean,
you
it's-
can't watch that stuff.
It's all over social media. I mean, you see all
Yeah,
these,
yeah.
all
Yeah.
these pastors and churches going crazy, doing crazy stuff. Like
Yeah.
we know, we've been in church all our life. That ain't, you know. But
Yeah.
they'll
Yeah.
take that and blow that up and
Mhm.
say this is what the church is, or this is what the church looks like, and it's
Mhm.
far from the truth.
And I think we I mean really our generation, I mean, because you know the last two generations, the baby boomers and the clubbers, you know, they almost at the point
I
of
thought it was,
The
I thought it was
Clubbers?
X.
they're not existent. You know the
Gen X- Gen X clubbers.
the freaknik generation. So,
And then they wonder why we the way we are, Dre. Who trained us? Sorry, Mom.
you know, honestly, we have to get to the root of that.
Yeah.
Why church is portrayed as such a joke and
Yeah.
why it is
Yeah.
such a
Yeah.
joke in today's society.
Dude, because back in the day, churches was like the arm of
They
the
didn't.
community.
They
I'm
didn't
like,
play
yeah.
that.
that.
They
The
didn't
church
play
didn't
that.
play
was
They
a
didn't
support
play that,
group
man.
for the community.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it,
but you're
it's
talking
not
the '60s, man.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
many years ago was that? 40?
There used to be
Well,
respect
there was
for the
no-
church.
years ago?
And you
there
got
wasn't any social media either, though.
You got to understand too. That was pre-segregation when the black community was in its own area.
Yeah,
You know, face value.
Yeah.
You know,
because the black church was the only place we could go for food, for
Yeah.
you know certain amenities, and
information.
It was the only place we could go to, so where we could be somebody.
Yeah.
If you want to
Okay,
be
so-
honest.
So here's
That's
the
why
question.
everybody wanted to be a bishop.
What- what-
we
so
ain't had that many bishops
That,
back there.
that was your nostalgia. Well, that's my point, right?
you went
You're
that
the
was
CEO of a
that-
company. If you
That's what you meant.
no, but I guess my question is like, where did it shift?
Fall off.
Like, was the wait? Is the shift due to the church, or was the shift due to the culture?
The shift,
of the
I would say, is
African American culture.
I would
Is
say
that
the shift-
shifted?
to me, I would say is the doing of a few that took the pastor role and turned it into something that it was never meant to be. And it became more about glorifying the man than it was lifting the people, because that's what the church was about.
It became a moneymaker.
Well, of course, they're moneymakers. So
I think the shift came when everyone from the South started moving up north because there was more opportunities up north. Because you could, you say what, Norman?
No, go finish. I'm sorry.
No, because like we stated before, earlier in the conversation, back then the church was literally the only place you could go to be somebody, to get tools, you know what I mean? Where there's food, financial assistance, whatever. It was really a community. But then soon as opportunities started opening up for people like us, people started moving, the demand and need for the church decreased as more people started shifting and getting more opportunities elsewhere. That's in my opinion. I think that's when we started to see a little bit of change, because the church used to be in so demand because we were needed. Now, technically, I mean, natural wise, you don't need the church like you used to need the church.
Do you think, Gabe, that's where status started?
Personally, yeah, I mean,
Opportunities came about, status.
maybe.
I think for me, I think a lot of it has to do with people had the church on a very high pedestal. People had it, like, hey, this is what the church, this is what it is, this is what it means, this is what the bishops are, this is what it is. Now with social media and we got technology and cameras and stuff everywhere, a lot of the leaders are being exposed for different things, a lot of even the behind the scenes stuff of church is out in the open a little bit more. Now people are like, well, hey, what is this? What is going on? So it's like, and when you have it at such a high pedestal, now it's like, oh, well, then it's like it chops it way down to the point where you just lose so much respect for it that it's like now you got to fight to earn the people's respect.
Yeah.
Because go ahead, Jay.
I was just gonna say with how, especially TV and movie, how they have portrayed it. Andre has said something on one of the other episodes. They don't have the right people in their writing, that have been that know it. You know what I'm saying? So, is there a way for Hollywood or whatever to like give more respect, to bring it back to where it should be? Should they invite
But the people within got to respect it, because you got people like Kurt Franklin producing a lot of this stuff, and he's our spokesperson for the church.
And Dre's favorite gospel artist.
Yeah,
That's Dre's favorite.
Look, I told y'all about today's Kurt Franklin. I don't know what he got going on.
But when the world, quote unquote, quote, think about gospel and church, a lot of times they think about Kurt Franklin, Mike Todd, whoever else. When you got people who they respect and who they think of when it comes to church, bringing them in the room, they're putting on a lot of this stuff. They're putting on the green leaves. They're putting on the, I think we got to look inside.
Brothers, this is not by accident. None of this that's happening right now.
That's facts.
It's incidental. It's all intentional, and it's been a setup since Dre said it. This conversation that led us down a path I don't know I was prepared for tonight.
Come on, Pastor.
But Dre started mentioning, you go all the way back to desegregation, and as good as that was in many people's eyes, if hindsight's 2020, so we look back and look at all of the effects that desegregation brought, right? Yes, it allowed us to go to any school we want to, we can work wherever we want to, we don't got to live on this side of the road and all those other things. But when you look at the culture and the community pre-segregation, you know, and that's a difficult pill to swallow for a lot of folks because, you know, one might say, how in the world can you say, you know, we should be segregated? No, I'm not saying that we should be segregated, but I am saying that the culture and community that came from us policing our own, us building generational wealth, us developing, we don't got to go down to Black Wall Street, rabbit hole tonight.
That's another rabbit hole. But
you just start looking at all of those things
Hit up my YouTube
that we had, it's frustrating though, because as that relates to the church, so Norm asked, when was the shift? For me, honestly, it was there because we've all said it many times, different ways that the church was. It wasn't nothing for the whole community to be shut down and everybody be walking to the same church. Everybody was at church in the community. It was a part of our culture, our norm. Now we've given people in this desegregated age that we live in all of these choices. So now I can choose, whether I'm, this or that, or I can choose whether or not I'm, going to go to church or not. Like those are choices that, and even our society has said to parents, you can only parent your child to this, to this extent. Otherwise, we'll take your kids from you, And so having the, going back to status, what Dre was saying, going back to status, right? Having the proper understanding of who you are, what your rights are, etc., is important in this day because right now, our society, our world.
Well, that goes deep into the Karl Marxism, and I don't want to get down into Karl Marx. And
listen,
talking about government and
we were supposed to be talking about Mario tonight.
Hey, look!
But I'm loving this.
Hey, man, I was about to bring up the Dawson's Creek.
These brothers are not just about the jokes; we got education too.
But listen, I was gonna say though, not going down the Karl Marx rabbit hole, but church was back then before pre-segregation. It was a place of safety. It was the one place where you could go most of the time, and you knew that the day was going to be just fine. You interact with like-minded people, in your own society and all that stuff, and you were safe. But after, like I said, desegregation, things happen. All the way, even if you go back to slavery, like even though the masters were pretty rough, the slaves felt a little free during their church service. They were able to not work. They were able to sit, congregate, and I think once we left that aspect of church, and turned it into a business
fellowship.
It really is fellowship. But now church is big business. So you want to.
Well, I think that if nothing else, then it shows the importance of us brothers, showing the way, being that light, being that example of a good balance between the old and the new. Because to a degree, the old, my grandfather's day, they were, holiness of hell. Don't wear red dresses. You can't wear rings. You gotta wear watch.
No open-toe shoes.
No open-toe shoes. No deal out either. No deal out either.
But simultaneously, though, that type of mentality got them through.
Yeah.
They didn't have to worry about sin getting into camp. For the most
to a certain extent, though.
To a certain extent. No,
to a certain extent. Because sin was in the camp.
No, because
it was under some rugs. It was under some rugs.
You're right. Again,
long dresses rise up just like short dresses.
I'm not deifying them.
It's probably easier to pants.
Well, we way out there tonight, ain't we?
The real funny, man.
Hey.
No, but we're not deifying because again, as long as we're all human, we're all.
No, I get what you're saying.
Right.
We got you.
But on the flip, like we have a generation where we went from too tight. Now is everything just do whatever you want to do. Out there, you find God for yourself. Who needs to come to church? Right? Which unfortunately now too far to the other degree. So having a subset that knows the principles of the old, but knowing the wisdom of the now, definitely allows us to kind of pierce through the fog of where we are now with everything's being all over the place.
Right. I told I was telling my wife, because of how Hollywood and you know, how they, you know, done the church, you know, in media, man. I would love to do like a mini series, you know, like a mockumentary, kind of like similar to like Modern Family, but just like in a church way, like funny. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, a lot of people yes, we know there's drama in the church, you know, background and stuff like that, but we have fun too. You know what I'm saying? We have many comedic times, you know. So I told my wife, I would love to do like a miniseries just called, you know, Church Kids or whatever, you know, a mockumentary. You know, you got like a synopsis of just like a basic kids, and then, you know, single camera them to like doing like that stupid little interview thing, and then back. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Just something
like
fun like that.
Like a PK series.
Like a PK or something like that. You know, it's just
that's dangerous.
That's dangerous, right there, you know? But y'all understand what I'm saying? Like something that's just fun, you know, to show that the church ain't just all drama all the time. We have fun with stuff.
Right. Well, going back to the desegregation that Pastor B mentioned, you know, I thought about something. You know, if you take the community out of the community, then there's confusion, and then there's no impunity within whatever community has been started outside of that community prior to that community, and now you have immunity for generations to come because nobody can be touched now, because nobody can be told what to do. Let's be honest, millennials. We know it all. Let's just be honest. Like, I mean, you know, we're not, you know, innocent either.
That came with an information age, though. It came with information being at our fingertips. So part of it is, yes, we know it all, but the other flip side of that coin is that we have information that our parents didn't have right at our fingertips.
True.
Right.
And whether it be valid or not, because sometimes you're right, we take stuff and we say, "Oh, I saw it on Google, so it must be true." Yeah. And it be
Dr. Umar said this.
We must stay focused, my brothers.
Hit the cash.
Dr. Umar said.
Hit the PayPal.
One thing I've always said is something that's good, and I think it's helped the church and it's hurt the church. It's education.
Yeah.
Back in the day, like you said, people were more and more. They what the pastor said went. You know, there was that. Hey, he said do this. This is what we're gonna do. As the more education we got, the more we start reading for ourselves. The more we start learning ourselves. Now we ask some questions. And some of our churches have, I think, one of the reasons they failed to remain relevant. Some of them are slow to adjust to that type of thinking. To the point where now, okay, let me explain why this is the way we do it. Let me explain why we think the way we think, instead of, hey, I said this is the way it goes. So I mean, it's one of those things we gotta look at. I mean, it's good for us. I mean, I'm not. Hey, trust me, I got 2 master's degrees, so I'm not.
Talk that talk,
anyway, you know.
Come on,
you know, by putting down education, but it's something that you start. It gives you other theories. It gives you other questions now. And if you're not careful, you can be way out there thinking stuff that's not the truth.
Yeah, and go ahead. You got it. Like Pastor B said, you know, going back to the information age, you know, we know too much now. So anything that they try to tell us, we already 9 times out of 10 know what they're about to say, or know the feeling or the emotions about what they're about to say. And sometimes we can take it, sometimes we can't. But at the end of the day, you know, the truth will set you free. So if there were more truths to like church hurt, that's a whole different.
Watch it. They ain't ready
to
for
get
that
us
one.
in trouble.
They ain't ready for that. But Andre, but like what you guys said, you know, this generation, we know too much, because literally what is at the tip is at our fingertips, because the attention span is within like 8 seconds now. You know, if you don't all the preachers that's on here knows, if you don't grab their attention within those 8 seconds, you have completely lost them. Because if you reverence something or make they're going to go to the phone and see if you know it. You know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we like Dre said, we know too much now. That's why you have to be able to know what's going on and be relevant with the times that's happening right now. Otherwise, you will lose people.
You have any doctrine or any belief you have, if you search it, you will find somebody that agree with you and you will find somebody that disagrees.
Yeah.
with you.
Disagree with you.
And that's
And
what
Darrell, to your point,
Mhm.
your people who disagree may very well be using the same references you using
right.
to refute you, and honestly, that's why the text, and I don't know, I ain't gonna preach tonight, but
Preach,
when,
man.
That's why you got to go by the hardcover.
When you're looking at
You gotta be
text,
paper
that's why
Bible
the
saved,
scripture
paper
tells
Bible
us we
saved.
got to rightly divide the word of truth, because
Yeah.
we can all be looking at the same thing and get two different interpretations that are
Two
like,
different interpretations.
So Pastor B, is that why we have the Jesus guy versus the Jesus the Son of God?
oh, sir, you
Oh,
messing
Let's not
with
even get into
Norm,
that.
that's a whole
Listen,
different
now-
you
episode.
messing
Hold on,
us today.
Going there.
Jay,
I
He
was
ain't
gonna say,
going there.
I was gonna say too, on the knowledge end, like you all said, knowledge is prevalent and it's accessible. But the problem is that with all this knowledge, many people don't do their homework or their research.
Exactly.
They find
exactly.
something and they think they've discovered it, but they haven't searched it out, and it leads them astray. And I think that, as you guys said, we get knowledge. You just take it. You go back to the beginning when Adam and Eve got their knowledge. They had knowledge, but they didn't have a teacher or somebody there to explain what they were now understanding.
Exactly.
And it opened them
Exactly.
up to stuff that they didn't have to.
They
be
didn't know how to
open
deal
to.
with. Yeah.
All right, I'll take my offering too. So
Because
Travis.
knowledge
Go
is information, right?
Yeah.
Knowledge is information, it's education. All those things come with study, but it's wisdom that is the proper application
Amen.
of that knowledge. And so
Wisdom,
many people
yeah.
lack wisdom, and they need to ask God
Well,
for some
well, not-
wisdom.
well, not even just that, but we're in a generation who needs proof or truth
Mm-hmm.
when we're at a level where this truth is subjective,
That's fair. Yeah.
but we want truth, but don't realize that we need to depend on the truth.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible says, Jesus said, I am the truth.
let me get my preaching ready because y'all
Well,
messing with me. Messing with me.
Look,
I'm
we over
gonna join at the
hours.
church and get on the organ.
Our generation literally
Yes,
bases
sir.
everything on this type of truth that is subjective because it's not the truth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And when you base truth on truth that's subjective, then you're going to consistently
There you go.
be led astray.
I
If
just
you're
taught,
not basing everything off
So
of
real.
the truth.
I just taught a
So
lesson.
real.
I just taught a lesson on the
So
difference
real.
between subjective truth and objective truth.
Mhm.
Objective truth never changes. It doesn't matter who applies it, who uses it, it will be the same. But
Yeah.
subjective truth, you are the subject, so therefore you
Mhm.
decide what's
Truth through
true
your
and what's
lens.
not true.
Perfect.
Mhm.
And that's not
Yeah.
true, because as y'all said, as Dre said earlier, truth will set you free. You know, the Bible says it will make you free.
That's true.
And the difference between make and set is anything that can be set free can be bound again. But when you are made free, nothing can
Hey!
hold you. You become the key. You have the key
Man.
to every lock, to every trap. And that's what truth is intended to be.
To do,
when you
yep.
find true truth.
pull you out of bondage.
I'm gonna accept your fruit, brother Brandon. That was some word right there. I'm gonna accept that.
That was good. That was
Go
good.
ahead and be your brother's keeper.
Yes, sir.
But
Yes,
but
sir.
another thing is the truth wear a lot of faces today.
Yes, it does. I'm with you 100% there. But that
So
goes
you
back to
gotta be-
Brandon's point,
Gotta
subjective
be
truth.
yeah.
Well,
you
yeah,
gotta
honestly,
be,
I
you gotta
truly
be safe.
believe the worst thing in the world ever, the worst phrase is my truth.
Mm.
honestly
Yeah,
believe when
absolutely.
people start
Mm.
buying
It's my
into
truth.
I'm gonna live my truth. I was like, ain't no my truth.
Right.
It's the truth.
Mhm.
It's the
Man.
truth.
Or
But-
that saying there's three sides to every story. They side, his side, and the truth.
And the truth.
and look, and I'm a you know the PCAF National Convention. They don't like really listen to what I got to say, but I'm gonna give
Why
y'all.
is you saying this?
I'm gonna give y'all a great idea. I said the PCAF, not the PCFI. You know, it's a whole situation. This PCAF is in the past, so hopefully they can hear me now. You know, now that they got the eye on the end.
Oh,
You know, they're
sick of you.
international, so
Oh,
we
I'm
can go
sick
global
of
with
you.
Oh,
this.
I can't stand it.
So look,
I'm sick of you.
I think we need to have a trauma session
Yes.
at a convention with the young people, and I'm telling you, that will catastrophically move the legs of this national convention, because literally There's no legs.
Well, the scary part about that, Dre, though, is you can't have a trauma session
without
full of facilitators who refuse to acknowledge that there was any trauma that actually existed. Because you ask most folks that I get frustrated when I hear people say, and I get some people have good intentions, but I get frustrated, and I'm getting upset right now. I get frustrated when I hear people say stuff like, ain't no such thing as church hurt. Like, I get that comes from good intentions, saying the church don't hurt nobody. Yes, God's church ain't hurt nobody. But then out of the same breath, you say we are the church, and the church is in the people. And that person who said they were the church just hurt me. So now I'm correlating my hurt to the individual who said that they were the church and just did something directly opposed to what it was that the church stands for. And so if we don't acknowledge that, if we don't acknowledge that there actually was trauma, we're going to get in a room full of young people who are going to be more frustrated than when they came, because they're going to leave saying, I wasn't even listened to.
But listen to that. Even if you get somebody that doesn't acknowledge it, what if they just tell you they did the best that they could?
Exactly.
That would go a long way, though.
But listen, then that takes it, half the room going to be like, well, I don't accept that. Other room like, I accept that. So like Pastor B saying, you're still going to leave with some disgruntled people. And the real question is, yes, you've been hurt in the church, but do you think you can ever get over it with or without the assistance of the one that hurt?
But the Honorable Donnie McClurkin say, if you get back up again, I'm saying have it 1 year. I'm saying have it year after year. Look, a wise man once told me, if you want a clean church, take everybody out of it.
Well, that was a good conversation, huh? We started off talking about Mario, and somehow we landed at church.
Hey, like this is how you know we raised in church for real. You can take any conversation to church.
Exactly. But hear this though. I've heard that saying that Dre mentioned before. But and then there's the other saying that says you don't go to the gym and look at all the overweight people.
Right. That's true.
And start yelling at them and say, get out of this gym. You're overweight. They're there because they overweight. So people who go into the church house are the worst of the worst. Like, we all are trying to get our lives together. Exactly. I think where we found that disconnect, and honestly, this is my personal opinion. I've actually written about this in my book. That former generation did a great job at sweeping stuff under the rug and saying we just gonna deal with it and we just gonna bury it, and we just live in a generation today that don't like rugs. We like hardwood floors, and so you just see all the dust, all of everything. It is what it is. I don't care what you think about it, and so some stuff is being exposed. We live in a culture of exposure. Everybody getting exposed. And so I think that's ripping the cover off of a lot of stuff.
But listen to this too, Brian. I mean, I think too, and I'm gonna stop talking because I'm talking. Y'all are pulling out of me tonight.
This is good.
I think people come into the church with the wrong perspective.
Agreed.
I think they come into the church thinking that the church is a place where people are, perfect and no harm's gonna be done.
Right.
But the church is made up of imperfect people striving to be perfect.
Exactly.
And I'll mention this personally, we on last, I'll mention it. One of my biggest pet peeves is, being a young preacher, whatever, people think a certain thing about you, sure. But I tell people, don't put me on a pedestal.
Yes.
Because when I fall, you're going to be disappointed. And I'm not saying I'm going to fall into sin, but I might do something you might not like.
Exactly.
But I'm still human. Right? God is still working and perfecting in me. And we cannot come into the church thinking that the pastor is perfect, the elders are perfect, the people are perfect, because you're setting yourself up to be hurt.
Now, what happens when everybody is not preaching that message is the issue.
But and then that's not an excuse too. I mean, you shouldn't be getting hurt in the church. I mean, people shouldn't be going around hurting people. Let me say that.
You shouldn't be getting hurt in the healing center.
Yeah, you should. Well, you get hurt in the hospital. Some people get hurt in the hospital.
Some people go in and help you come out.
That's why they got pain.
That's not a healing center.
So, but that's what I'm saying. If we need to change the
that's a rabbit hole. That's another rabbit hole. I'm sorry.
What the church is, and coming into the church expecting people to be God when they're people.
Well, I think Because we're in a generation that has to know everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have to have the answers to everything. We have to know why. And man, we super preachy today. We're real preachy today.
Jarrell, get that organ. I know you got it over there in the corner. Cue it up.
Yeah. We real preachy. But Job literally was inflicted and he was literally near perfect. And guess what? Even after his affliction, God still didn't give him an answer. So why? He said, "Were you there when I made the fish? Were you there when I made the beast? Where were you?" And then, without even giving him an answer, slowly he started giving everything back to Job. Like that passage or that whole chapter literally teaches us that we're not going to understand everything that God does, but our job is to trust in the one who created everything.
Right.
That's it.
Faith.
But that was an answer, Gabe.
Huh?
But that was an answer.
God didn't give it to him.
But it was an answer.
It was an answer.
It was an answer. I think it may not be. It may not have been the answer he wanted.
Yeah.
But he got an answer, and I think we have demonized asking the question why. When the question why is a valid question, regardless of who's asking and when it's being asked to. Seeking and understanding is something God expects us to do. We should seek understanding, even if we don't get the answers we want to get. Sometimes we're gonna get. Sometimes it's a dangerous thing to ask why. We ask why to some questions, and you get the answer. You be like, "Ooh, I wish I didn't know that." But we ought to allow the question why.
But that's just like the children of Israel when they was like, why does Moses get to talk to God? Why can't I talk to God? So he talked to him. And he starts talking in thunder and lightning. And they didn't want to talk to God no more.
Exactly. They said, never mind, Moses, you can talk to God.
I'm telling you,
God ain't petty. He don't mind you asking why.
I'm telling
He
you,
don't mind. No, he wants you to. He wants you to ask him a question. You know, that's what he wants.
He may answer your question with a question.
With a question.
Were you there, fam?
Right. You know, even the disciples, you know, they always had questions and Jesus answered their question. He wanted them to ask, you know, because he came and preached the statement, the kingdom of God is at hand. You know, that's one. But I encourage everyone that's watching tonight, just go, if you want to know about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, go read the book of Proverbs, man. It literally has everything in there. Ecclesiastes.
Look.
All the books of wisdom. All the books of wisdom.
They all give a distinct perspective.
Proverbs.
Stay away from the Songs of Solomon.
If you really want to get deep into it,
me and Lex about to read that right now.
And I know some of y'all might think this is a little controversial. But please, just for educational purposes, read the Apocrypha. Now, don't look. Hold on, Gabe.
No,
hold on.
I'm straight.
Hold on.
If they ain't ready,
hold on.
Some people ain't ready.
You're not reading it to match God's word. You're reading it to understand the perspective,
right?
Of what may have been missing from the Christos age. You know, the Julian, Roman calendar. You know, it's different calendars in the Bible that you got to study.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Understand, certain aspects of what's going on. But that's just me.
Yeah, I would recommend people like us to read that.
Yeah.
If you a newbie, if you a baby saint,
you know
what I mean? Yeah, if you're a spiritual infant,
stick with the Bible for right now. Just stick with the
keep drinking their milk. Is that what you're saying? You're telling me to keep drinking their milk, Gabe? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if you drinking milk, don't go drinking cranberry juice.
But overall, God's word is so amazing. I mean,
I don't know, Norman.
It's to a point to where you can find answers, but you'll be looking for more. Trust me, because it's a never-ending source of questions that you have to ask God in your own meditational state.
Yeah,
because you just be.
And honestly, if you're not asking questions, then you're not trying.
You're not reading.
Can I read some real quick for reaction? I'm reading
go ahead.
real quick. All right, here you go. I call this authenticity inhibitor number 10. You don't ask the preacher why. Fall in line. Ensure that you have aligned with whatever the pastor designs as divine, and don't dare define anything other than that which is within the church's confines.
Where's that
This
at?
goes back to this conversation growing up in the church, not being able to ask why, and it's stifling who you are. Reactions, thoughts about
Where's that
that's
from?
A real thing. I'm sorry.
Where's that from?
Well, it's from this book that was written.
Don't ask why.
Don't ask. The fact that he asked why,
It's
realized
Ryan's
he
book.
didn't read
It's
it.
called Unmatched.
Is that your
Okay.
is that your
Hey,
book, Brian?
I was in my Bible app, like, okay.
No. The real question is, Brian, is
Hebrew
that your
Standard
book?
Version.
Yeah, no.
There we go.
Yeah, so it's a book I wrote a few years ago.
Man, promote your book on here, man.
Oh, man.
Okay, let's do that after you react to that. Since the part
All right, can you do that again?
Yeah, all right. I'm gonna find it again.
So
He
are
wasn't
we,
even listening.
Look up
He was
So-
trying to find his Bible app.
so are you asking the audience to react to it or us?
Us or the audience, people in the audience, us here. If anybody want to react to it.
Well, it's gonna be another 20 minutes.
Oh man, never mind. We already at time.
Hey,
ain't we?
no, that's fine.
All right, here we go.
This
Listen,
is
so
good conversation.
you don't ask the preacher why. Fall in line. Ensure that you have aligned with whatever the pastor designs as divine, and don't dare define anything other than what is within the church's confines.
Okay, that sound like, man.
That sounds like that was the
50s, the 60s.
50s, 60s. That's
The 70s, the 80s, the
That's
90s.
the downside.
Chill out, Brian.
That's the Israelites.
Well, no, I would say to me though that it sounds like that's the downside of being having that inclusive church that we were just talking about 25 minutes ago, where the church was the center of everything and the pastor was the head of the church.
Right.
Right. So the side effect of that is that now you have a pastor who's also a community leader, who's also the leader of all the people, and what he says goes because that's the pastor. So, I mean, that's just to me, it's the side effect of that generational time where the pastor can say, "Come to church on Friday" on the telephone, and then the whole church just run out and come on Friday.
Or not even Friday, knowing the pastor say, "Hey, be there at 7:00 tonight."
Yeah, and
Or
everybody coming.
that's also the trauma in Christian households.
Yeah,
Come today,
yeah.
your family will be there
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah. And how do we feel that has built a stressor? As we talked about trauma, right? On the family. I'm just kind of bringing this conversation full circle. We go back to, the family dynamics and family shows and just how people view the church and church families and how broken some families are, and the single family household being the staple of many of our churches. Like having a mother and a father in a sanctified home is almost a rarity. And so, addressing those, how do we feel that has built a trauma?
Isn't that a reflection of the culture though? I mean, the church is
I
full of
agree.
people in the neighborhood, and if the people
Absolutely.
in the neighborhood are single mothers, then that's just going to be in the churches full of
That's
single
gonna be in the
mothers.
church,
Right.
So I mean, that's kind of a societal issue to a degree.
Agreed.
That started back in the 70s, 80s, where and that's a whole other topic as far as.
I think that's why we're going to have to really show some grace moving forward, because we have to understand a lot of our forefathers were only giving us what they knew.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody
Oh,
taught
for
them
sure.
that, and then they taught their sons that, and then their sons taught their sons that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like I
But
get
when
what
does
you're
it
saying.
stop? When does it
Generation,
stop?
that's generation.
When
Yeah,
does it
it has
stop?
to stop, but we have to be understanding as well and not be bitter.
Sure. Oh,
Because
yeah.
a lot
Oh,
of
for
us
sure.
are now bitter from what we went through and for what we come from, and now we threw the baby away with the bathwater.
Right.
Mhm.
Now we're walking away from church. We're walking away from
And
doctrine.
so many are, and,
Or you
and
start your
I
own
agree
church.
with you 100%.
Right.
Or they're starting their own church. And so many are. I agree with you 100%, Gabe, in the fact that some have turned bitter, but bitterness comes out of recurring trauma. And so unaddressed recurring trauma. And so
Right.
And so
So how do we
unless
move forward then?
That's the question I want to hear from
But
us.
that's
Like,
but
what
that's,
do we?
but
what
that's
do we
what I
think that
asked
is?
earlier. That's what I asked earlier. If you don't get that validation, if you don't ever get somebody to tell you that they did you wrong or they made a mistake, are you going to live in bitterness for the rest of your life?
That's good.
Then,
That's
because then it takes it away from them, and now it puts it in your court. What are you going to do about it?
And the question beckons, what are you going to do about it? Next on Dragon Ball Z. We are going to leave this discussion, folks, for the next episode.
So, hey, man. Look, listen, man. Listen, this is what we here for. We're here to talk about. We're here to talk about cinema.
How did we get from Mario to here, though?
I don't know.
Hey, I want to see when that transition happened. I need to see the playback.
We started talking about Mario, then we started talking about, glad that Mario and Bowser, there were no hidden agendas in there, and then it just went on from there.
There's hidden agendas in the church.
We went down the rabbit hole. We just went down the rabbit hole.
This podcast is God ordained, so we going whatever direction He leads us to go in.
And
hey, next week we talking about C.S. Lewis, Karl Barth, Karl Marx,
Lord Jesus.
We ain't dealing with
Lewis,
the Apostles' Creed,
Malcolm X.
Hey man, listen, this is what we here for. This is what we here for, man. This podcast is God ordained, and we hope that you all are continuing to pray for us. That this podcast blows up. Not just to talk about, nerdy stuff that since we are the church nerds, but just to let folks know that, Christ loves you at the end of the day. God, He sent His Son to die on a tree, and He got up on the third day, and He gave all power to you and me on the day of Pentecost. Don't go there.
Yes, sir.
That's what we here for.
Go for it, Jay.
All of us, we want all of you to know that we are all brothers. But
I hear you, Norm.
We have a light. Norm's light is shining a little brighter than the rest of us.
The Lord is right above me. Right?
He's been wearing that head on the whole show.
It's been getting brighter. The whole show is just like it's amazing.
But we want to show everyone that what we believe, what God's word says. Let your light so shine before men in the world, and they may see your good works and glorify your Father, which is in heaven. God gets the glory out of all of this. Even though we are here having a podcast, having fun, God still gets the glory out of this. So listen, man, we are the Church Nerds podcast. We went from talking about Mario, but listen, we went to talk about community, man, and that's just how it is. We just go with the flow of wherever the conversation goes. There's no schedule to this or whatever. We may have something planned out, but we just never know how God wants us to bring something to the table, man. But once again, I'm Jay. We got Norm, we got Brandon, we got Gabe, Darrell, Pastor B, and Andre Buford, man. We are the Church Nerds podcast. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the Facebook and to the YouTube. God bless you all in Jesus' name.
This stands for Deuces, and Morbius is 2 stars.
What up, though? Thank you so much for watching the podcast tonight, guys. We love you. We thank you for the continued support. Please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Facebook fan page.